in history. Okay, it's time for our daily journey to the past.
We have two events to share with our listeners this morning, but first here is a quiz question for you. Renowned musician Jim Morrison was the leader of what group from the 1960s? Number one, The Windows, or number two, The Doors. Okay, the question once again. Renowned musician Jim Morrison was the leader of what group from the 1960s? Was it number one, The Windows, or number two, The Doors? If you know the answer, you can put it on our Bundy board or text in on your cell phone, pounder sharp 1045 for 50 or 101, depending on the length of your text, to win a 2015 casual planner.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm using it right now.
Are you now?
I am. It's quite nice.
It's not 2015 yet, though, right?
It's not 2015 yet, but it has the December page.
Oh,
actually,
I was going to say,
2014.
you are very well organized, something, and if you're already planning out next year.
I must be crazy, to be using 2015 casual planner already. Okay, anyway, so let's go and check out what interesting events happened on this day in the past.
Today in history. In 1813, Beethoven's Symphony No. 7 premiered, and in 1943, Jim Morrison was born.
1813년 12월 8일 베토벤의 교향곡 제7번이 발표된 날이고요. 1943년 12월 8일은 짐 모리슨의 생일입니다.
All right, so today we begin the journey to the past with the premiere of a classical music piece by one of the most renowned composers of all time.
And that was Symphony No. 7 by Ludwig van Beethoven, making its debut in Vienna on this day in 1913 with the conduction done by himself.
Now, the piece was composed between 1811 and 1812, and at the premiere of the piece, Beethoven was said to consider this symphony as one of his best works.
So it wasn't a surprise that a piece became an instant hit, especially the second movement, which had to be encored.
And soon enough, this movement, named Allegretto, was made into a separate symphony.
Allegretto is now considered as one of Beethoven's finest works. And besides this classical stage, it was also featured on the silver screen in the award-winning film The King's Speech.
Battlefield. But we can only do the right as we see the right, and reverently commit our cause to God. If one and all we keep resolutely faithful to it, then, with God's help, we shall prevail.
Fantastic movie.
It was,
Yeah.
it was. And especially that scene. Was quite impressive.
Colin Firth, that's his
Yes.
name? Yeah, an amazing job with that role.
네, 그렇습니다. Okay, so let's move on.
Jim Morrison, yes, another musician who is considered to be one of the most iconic and influential figures in rock and roll history.
And he was James Douglas Morrison, better known as Jim Morrison, and he was born on this day in 1943.
Ranked among the 100 greatest singers of all time by Rolling Stone magazine, Morrison was the symbol of the hippie counterculture rebellion, and his iconic status was on par with the likes of Che Guevara.
Oh, well, Morrison rose to fame and is best known now as the lead vocalist of the 1960s hit band The Doors.
The Doors, that's right. One of my favorites. You know, Morrison was more than just a singer. One of his trademarks was improvising spoken word poetry passages while performing his songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a talent.
He was an interesting guy in a very interesting time. Yeah, he had some troubles in his life as well. But still, you know, when we look back at the music, it was fantastic. The reason I love The Doors is because they were making different kinds of music at that time.
Oh, this keeps reinventing themselves, huh? And that passion for poetry goes back to his teenager years. In fact, he self-published 2 volumes of his poetry in 1969 titled The Lords or Notes on Vision And the other one was titled The New Creatures.
That's right. And his grave is located now in Paris, and it's one of the most visited attractions in the city.
And his whole life was made into a movie, right?
Yeah, that's right. Val Kilmer played his role, I think.
Right.
All right, so before we finish up the answer to the quiz question, it was renowned musician Jim Morrison was the leader of what group in the 1960s? And the answer, The Doors.
The Doors, not the windows, the Doors.
Excellent. That's it for Today in History. We'll be back tomorrow with more from the past.